You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. So happy to be here with you this morning. Good morning, Gwinnett. I hope you're doing well out there in the land of the living. Got a great guest for you today. Excited about this. If you are looking to find out more about how to do business with Gwinnett, you want to make sure you tune into this episode. And if by chance you miss it, it is on demand, or miss part of it, it is on demand by going to goodmorninggwinnett.com, and you'll be able to listen to it there. But before we get started, I like to talk about nonprofits that are doing great things. In our area, we call it People Helping People, because we need people to help people. And we got some great people out there doing great things to help people get back on their feet, get back on track with their lives and things like that. So today my nonprofit shout out goes to Eyes of Love Lighthouse Mission. What they do, they're located in Beaufort, 332 South Hill Street in Beaufort, Suite B. What they do is they help by providing clothing free of charge to people that need help getting back on their feet. They provide food. They give away household items for anybody who's looking to get back on their feet. And they just need a lending hand, and that's what they do. It's so good to have these people out there doing this great work, but they need your help and your support, and so they can continue the mission and the vision that they've set for themselves, and also to be able to help more people. So if you want to go and show some love and show some support, they are located again at 332 South Hill Street, Suite B, Beaufort, Georgia. That's 30518. Check them out. It's Eyes of Love Lighthouse Mission. .org. That's their website, eyesoflovelightHousemission.org. So without further ado, I want to bring on Miss Chantel Wilson. She is the Economic Development Manager for Gwinnett County, and man, I interviewed her. This is my second interview. I interviewed her the first time, and when I tell you, she was giving me the rundown of what's going on in Gwinnett, especially when it comes to industry and the things that we have going on here. And so she's going to come on today and talk to us about what's happening in Gwinnett. Gwinnett is a heavily populated county. We have about 950,000 residents here in Gwinnett, and we have some Fortune 500 companies. And if you're looking to do business in Gwinnett, this is a person you want to talk to, especially if you do something in the industries that she's going to talk about on the show. So without further ado, welcome to the show. Good morning, Chantel. Thank you for being here with me this morning.
Good morning, Audrey. Thank you so much for having me.
And Happy New Year. We haven't talked since the New Year, and I just want to wish you a Happy New Year. I know you got great things planned for this year.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you and all of your listeners as well.
Thank you so much. So listen, I've been doing my research on Gwinnett. I've been here 5 years, but my head has been down building companies, and so now my head is up and I'm talking on the radio and interviewing people. And so one of the people I love talking to is you, because I know that you know what's happening in Gwinnett, because that's what you do. So tell the people a little bit about what your responsibility is as the Economic Development Manager for Gwinnett.
So the Office of Economic Development for Gwinnett County has been in place now for about 2 years. We have a charter that was implemented by the Board of Commissioners, so we focus our efforts strategically in unincorporated territories throughout the county. So as you know, we've got 16 cities, and so the cities do a wonderful job at handling economic development for those respective municipalities, and so the Office of Economic Development was created to focus solely on unincorporated territories. And so we focus very heavily on helping companies to relocate and expand within those territories. We're also looking at doing a small business resource center, as well as doing some redevelopment projects throughout the county. So those are our three areas of focus: business outreach, small business, as well as redevelopment.
Now, when I first moved to Gwinnett County, I had to go get my business license. I went to the City Hall, which is right on, I think it's Clayton Street, and they said, no, you have to go to, I think it's Langley, because I was an unincorporated. What does that mean? Because I had no clue what that meant.
Right. So as I said before, most people readily identify with the city that's in their address. So for instance, I'm a resident of Duluth. I live within the city limits of Duluth, and so when someone says, hey, where do you live? I live in Duluth. But there are areas of Duluth that are unincorporated, meaning that you are in Gwinnett County, and Gwinnett County provides your services, so that's the difference. If you're within a city, then your services, public services are provided by the city, and if you live in unincorporated Gwinnett, then those services are provided to you by the county. So if you went to register your business and they told you that you needed to come to Gwinnett County Business License Office, then that means that your business is in unincorporated Gwinnett.
Now, does it make a difference where I'm incorporated within Gwinnett? Does it make a difference about that?
I mean, of course, as long as you're in Gwinnett, we're pleased. But if you locate within a city, then yes, you have to get your business license through the city. And then, outside of that, then you would come to Gwinnett County.
Okay. Now, I know that we have some Fortune 500 companies here in Gwinnett, such as AGCO and Asbury Automotive. What's the attraction for these Fortune 500 companies, and are we trying to bring more into the county?
Most definitely. We spend a lot of time working with our partners and allies. We've got a huge cheerleader in Partnership Gwinnett. Nick Messino is the Chief Economic Development Officer of that group. We work very closely with them, again, and some of our other partners and allies at the Department of Economic Development, through the ARC, and so many others that work with us to help to attract companies to the Gwinnett area. I think the biggest advantage to doing business in Gwinnett is the talent. We have an amazing workforce. We have a very talented workforce, and I think that's one of the biggest drivers here in Gwinnett.
Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Nope, I'm still here. I apologize.
Okay. Oh, we're kind of quiet there for a moment.
So, yeah, I would say it's talent, Audrey. I think that's the biggest driver. Of course, companies are looking for, those communities that can not only provide them with folks to fill their pipeline as it relates to talent, but they also want them to be very well educated. They're interested in those folks who speak multiple languages. And here in Gwinnett, a very diverse community, so as you can imagine, multiple languages are spoken within the school system as well as the workplace and industries here in Gwinnett.
Yeah, and I could tell you when I first moved to Gwinnett and I visited Duluth, I saw I don't want to disrespect anyone, but it was Asian writing on mostly all of the buildings, and I was like, okay, am I in Chinatown right now? And I wasn't sure.
Understand.
So, but when you ride through Gwinnett, you're gonna see English, and you're gonna see Asian. What is it? Is it Mandarin that's on the buildings?
Yeah, you will see a number of Asian languages throughout the county. We definitely have a huge Asian population here in Gwinnett. But when you think about the diversity of the community right now, our diversity index is running at about 75%. And 1 out of every 5 people in Gwinnett were born in another country. And so when you start talking about being able to cater to that very diverse community, you're going to see things like that. So we definitely have a strong Asian population here, and they're a huge part of the economy as well.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was talking to someone yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I was in a meeting with him, and I'm from Jersey. I was born in Georgia, raised in Jersey. He was from South Jersey, and I said everybody I pretty much meet came from somewhere else inside of Gwinnett. So you're right, it's so cool. But it's a very nice place to live, and I know that when I moved here, I moved my husband. My poor husband works in Cobb County, and so that's a hike every morning to get to Marietta. And I feel bad for him, but I can't imagine not living in Gwinnett County. So. I'm trying to figure out something that maybe a pharmaceutical company will come to Gwinnett County and he can jump over there because that's what he does, pharmaceutical.
Well, we definitely got a number of, companies, here in the area, so definitely would love to help you better understand what that business landscape looks like, such that you can, get a feel for what companies might be an option for him, because we would love for him to work in Gwinnett as well.
He would love it, Chantel, because I feel bad for him. Going to work is fine because he leaves at 4:30 in the morning. coming home is always a hassle. So he's in traffic for about 2 hours. And, he did look at one pharmaceutical company here, but I don't think they were ready. They were set up properly yet. They were trying to get set up at the time. But I know that there are over 50 international companies here. So what's the draw for companies coming from other countries here? I mean, is it the quality of life? Is it the incentives that you guys offer? Tell me a little bit about that.
I definitely think it's quality of life. It's quality of place. It's diversity, because right here in Gwinnett, there are things that are very authentic to key cultures. And so if you can have a little slice of home away from home, why not? So there are a number of companies that are looking to expand their footprint all over the world, and Gwinnett is one of those communities that gives them the best of both worlds. And so when you start talking about having some of the, best schools in the nation, as well as, again, quality of place or diversity. Right here in Gwinnett County, you're more likely to find someone who would speak the language that you're looking for if you're coming from another country. So as our diverse population continues to grow, with 100 different languages and dialects spoken, in households and student populations representing more than 180 countries, you're going to find what you're looking for right here in Gwinnett. As I said to you before, 1 out of every 5 Gwinnett residents were born outside of the U.S. And so when you start talking about expanding your company, Gwinnett, right here in Georgia, provides you that opportunity to be able to get a slice of home away from home.
And that's important, because even me leaving Jersey, even though I was born here, raised there, anytime I see a New Jersey license plate, which is so fun, we're like, hey, that person is from Jersey. So you're right. It kind of gives you that, okay, I'm here and I love it here, but it's nice to kind of see that somebody is from Jersey other than me. So that's kind of cool.
Right. Oh yeah, I see the plates as I'm riding around, because when you start thinking about where we're headed as it relates to population growth, so by 2040, we're slated to be at 1.5 million people. And so as I'm driving around town, I'm noticing those out-of-state plates, and those are the people that are helping to contribute to that population growth. So you're absolutely right, Audrey. I noticed them in traffic.
Now let me ask you this. I watch the boards, and I know some people are just not excited about the growth that Gwinnett is having as far as the population expansion. But and I don't even know where a lot of the people are going. So how do you handle those people? Because I know I read some of the boards and people are a little bit upset. They don't want people to come to Gwinnett. They want to keep it the way it was. I look at it as a way to expand it and grow, but not everybody feels that way. So how do you deal with those people when they when you get the pushback from the residents who don't want 1.5 million people living in Gwinnett?
We typically try and make sure that we have public forums for different things that we do, especially if it's going to, require us to make a decision that's going to impact, most everyone in the county, and we're using taxpayer dollars. And so we want to make sure that we're being good stewards of those dollars. And so anytime that there's a decision looking to be made, we're typically looking to have a public forum such that we can get feedback. We also do plans that cover, 20 years, 40 years, and economic development plans. And so we're typically out in the communities talking with people about next steps and things that are going to happen. And so when we get any pushback, we typically, again, are trying to host those folks in a fashion such that they understand what this means for them, and we try and help to alleviate any concerns that they may have. And so going into the situation understanding that we won't be able to please everyone, we definitely try and resolve, any of their concerns on the front end. And so we're big on making sure that we take that public input and apply it to our decision making. I think our leadership, to include our new commissioners, are very keen on making sure that they do what's in the best interest of Gwinnetians. And so while we, again, understand that we won't be able to please everyone, we definitely try and make sure that we take into account any concerns before we move key things forward.
Great, 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 and I'm happy to hear that because I do, I kind of have my nose out there and I listen and I read forums and boards and I was like, oh my God, I get excited when I see like, oh, it's gonna be a new building on the corner of Grayson and Hillside, and people like, I hate the fact it's gonna be a building on the corner of Grayson and Hillside. It's a lot of traffic, And I'm like, okay, well, I think it's great. It's gonna be like a new subdivision on Chandler. I hate the fact it's going to be another subdivision on Chandler. So I'm thinking, well, I think it's great, So I guess everybody is entitled to their opinion and how they feel. Now, what are some of the target industries that you are looking to bring into Gwinnett? Like, what if you had your ideal group of businesses, what would they look like? What would they be?
Well, we like to say that we're, strong as it relates to manufacturing, supply chain, professional services, healthcare, anything IT related. And so right now, we focus very heavily on the work that is being done by our partners over at Partnership Gwinnett. And those are those clusters that they typically thrive and focus in. And so we're looking to make sure that we continue to bring companies from those sectors to the table because that's where we feel like we're strong. So again, advanced manufacturing, supply chain, professional and corporate services, anything in the health sciences and services, as well as IT. So Partnership Gwinnett focuses there through the Office of Economic Development. We typically work with small businesses and then companies just across the spectrum. So we also work with restaurants and hotels and others. So we typically are looking to work with any business that's interested in doing business in Gwinnett. When you start talking about reaching 1.5 million people, by 2040, the needs, they vary and they differ as we continue to go through time. And so what we have to do is take into account not only the demographics of those in Gwinnett, but rooftops that are needed. And so we look at a lot of different things when we start talking about bringing business and industry into the community.
I got to say this. I applaud you guys, and I applaud all the municipalities, too, because even though I like going to Atlanta, I love being able to stay out here in Gwinnett and go and do things. And a lot of municipalities do some great things, provide great events and things like that. So to be able to have a great place to live and play is a great thing, too. Now, here's my thought, though. Tell me, I haven't seen a lot of entertainment spots. Is that not a need or is that not a want? Now, when I say entertainment, I'm talking about like entertainment as far as lounges and things like that. Is that not a need or a want? I know they have restaurants, but I haven't seen a lot of lounges.
To be honest, that's not something that has been really brought to the forefront in terms of needs per se for Gwinnett. But as someone who works, very closely with the Gwinnett young professionals and the millennial population, it's definitely something that I've heard, where do we go for this? Where do we go for that? And I think right now we are hoping that Revel will help to provide that. So that's a project that's happening in unincorporated Gwinnett that is almost $1 billion development that will be taking place. And so we're hoping that Revel will bring a nightlife aspect to what we're calling downtown Gwinnett. So you're talking about 400,000, square feet of shopping, 25,000 square feet of, food halls, theaters, all types of festivals and concerts to be held in that space. And so we're hoping that the Revel development will help to culminate that entertainment and nightlife that you're speaking of.
Yeah, because that was the one thing I was like, man, there no nightlife. There's no lounge. There was one, and they went out of business. Footprints. I was kind of excited and that was really close to where I live at. But then they went out of business. Like, oh my God, now there's nothing. So that's kind of cool. So now Revel, when is Revel due to break ground, or have they broken ground already?
Yes, so development has already started taking place. There's probably 3 cranes out right now, and the area that we're talking about is near the intersection of Sugarloaf and Satellite Boulevard near the Infinite Energy Arena. So that's where the development will be. Like I said, it's already begun. There are 3 cranes out there now. When you drive past, there's a huge mountain of dirt that has been brought in. And so development has already begun, construction.
Now, I know the Infinite Arena is doing some expansion too. Can you tell us a little bit about what that expansion is and what they're planning on doing with that?
I'm not very involved with that project. To have full disclosure, I've not been involved in either project other than supporting the work of North American Properties and Explore Gwinnett. But what I can tell you is that as it relates to the arena, there will be an expansion for the arena. They're looking at adding more seats. Right now, the challenge has been is that we have parking stretched across that piece of property, and so they're now constructing parking structures and parking garages such that we can use more of that parking space to expand the arena. So it will have the ability to have more capacity and seat more folks in that space.
Okay, cool. Listen, we're talking to Ms. Chantel Wilson here from the Economic Development Department at Gwinnett. She's the manager there. This is a seat at the table. The first Thursday of each month, we'll be talking to heavy hitters, movers and shakers, government officials, politicians, and community activists here on Good Morning Gwinnett. And so Chantel is our first guest of the new year at a seat at the table on Good Morning Gwinnett, and she's telling us about what's going on in Gwinnett. Now, I want to shift gears just a little bit because we've been talking a lot about big businesses and Fortune 500s and international companies, but my sweet spot is, and my heart goes to small business owners. There are a lot of empty storefronts, and I've been here 5 years, and a lot of those storefronts are still empty. Why is that? And why are those opportunities? Are those opportunities open for small businesses who are looking for retail spots? Are there programs in place to help them with that? Is there anything you can shed light about that?
We will have more things that we're going to be rolling out this year as it relates to small business. We have been working on a small business resource center, so doing the necessary due diligence now to see where we best fit into that. As you know, there are a number of technology incubators, if you will, throughout the county, and so right now we're looking at what underserved need is there as it relates to small business, and we'll be looking to fill that. So the chairman has her State of the County in February, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that. But as it relates to the Small Business Resource Center, we are doing all the behind-the-scenes work right now to prepare to roll that out. So we will have a number of small business resources that we'll be offering. What I can tell you is that we work very closely with small businesses often that are looking for a new space or to expand within the county, and so we're here to help. We can help them to identify resources that may be available to them. Mark Farmer here in my office has got a significant number of years of experience in working with small business and helping to develop the entrepreneur ecosystem here in Gwinnett, and so he's a wealth of knowledge as well as our partners and allies in that space. And so we see a number of small businesses opening all the time in Gwinnett. Some of them are people working from co-working spaces or working out of their homes, and so they're not taking down as much space as some of the larger businesses would, but we are definitely seeing an increase in the number of small businesses that are opening within the county.
Now, when a resource center is available, because I know with a lot of incubators, they have mentoring in place. They also have support services in place, and some of them even have financing in place. Will the Small Business Resource Center in Gwinnett offer those type of resources, financial and mentoring and things like that?
We're definitely looking to make sure that our center is comparable. We want to make sure that any businesses that we support through that space get everything that they need to start a business and run one successfully from soup to nuts, whatever they need. So right now we're determining what that model will look like and what type of businesses we will serve. And if we aren't offering that financing mechanism that you're referring to, we'll definitely have partners and allies in place to help meet that need.
Okay, that's wonderful. You know, and they're so important. I had the opportunity to visit a couple. I even did an accelerator down in Atlanta, and I got to tell you, it was really something special because I got a chance to pitch in front of investors. I got a chance to get great feedback from my coach and the mentors, and I know that the Resource Center is going to be a great asset for all the small businesses in Gwinnett who are looking to, get more information and get that kind of support, because a lot of times we feel alone when you're home and, you're working from home, and you work from, even if you work from a co-working space. Like, if you go to a co-working space, everybody kind of pretty much just working. But with the incubator, you get a chance to actually talk to somebody, ask questions, and get feedback and mastermind and things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that roll out. Hopefully I can get Mark on the show. I reached out to him a few times, but I know he's a busy man, but hopefully I can get him on the show on one of the first Thursdays of the month, a seat at the table, and talk more about the Resource Center and what he does there with you guys at the Economic Development community. So I'm going to be at this. Now, here's the thing. The state of the county is actually my birthday. And I was like, okay, oh my God, that's my birthday, but I really want to be there, so I'm going to be there. What else interesting do you have going on in Gwinnett that you would like to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
Well, definitely want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing as it relates to business outreach.
Okay.
So last year we kicked off our business outreach program where we're looking to meet with Gwinnett companies across the board. It's a free service designed to identify the needs of local employers and connect them with resources and solutions that remove barriers to growth. And so we're looking to meet with any company that is interested in a better relationship with Gwinnett County. The meetings, we come to you, or either you can come to our office. They typically only last 30 minutes, and we're looking to just do a pulse check. How are you? Is there anything that you need? Is there anything that is affecting your business that Gwinnett County can alleviate? Is there anything that we can do? So that's what business outreach is about. Those meetings could include our partners with Partnership Gwinnett. We could be bringing in the Department of Economic Development or the Atlanta Regional Commission. It just really depends on what needs they may have that may be identified up front. So we're looking to meet with as many companies as we can. Last year we met with about 50 companies that just said, hey, I'd love to sit down with you, better understand what's going on throughout the county and how I can grow my business. Aside from doing those business outreach meetings, we're also going to continue with Coffee and Conversation in 2019. So we will be rolling out the dates for that at State of the County in February. So be on the lookout for those. And as you know, Audrey, Coffee and Conversation is just that, coffee and conversation with your county government. We established that program again to strengthen our relationships with business and industry. So once we roll out the dates, I would love to come back to the show and talk a little bit about Coffee and Conversation and what that can mean for business and industry. We also will continue with our executive travel training. It's something that we partnered with the Transit Department on last year, where we take business and industry out and teach them about Gwinnett Transit, how to ride the bus, how to connect to MARTA, and how all of that works such that they can communicate that information to their employees, and we can start to better utilize the system.
So now let me ask you about that part. So are you saying that there's a way for, if you don't want to drive into Atlanta, there's a way for you to use Gwinnett public transportation to connect to MARTA to get to Atlanta?
That's correct.
That is cool, because I hate driving to Atlanta sometimes. Sometimes I just want to go and not drive. Okay.
Well, Audrey, I'd love to invite you as well as any of your listeners to Wondrous Workers. It's going to be executive travel training. We'll be doing that in March. We're actually working on the details now, and we'll be rolling them out soon. So we would love to have any business or industry that would like to know more about Gwinnett Transit, as well as how to connect to other systems. So we'll make sure we get that information for you to share with your listeners.
Sounds great. And listen, I would always love to have you back. Whenever you want to come back, you just holler at me and I will bring you back, because all of the information that you've shared this morning is going to help the business owners and those looking to do business, because the show is international, inside of the United States, inside of Gwinnett, So the information you shared is definitely helpful to all of us. And it's going to be great talking to you again. And thank you for being the first person of the new year at the seat at the table with me.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. So listen, everybody, you got a lot of great information there. I'm going to post this at Good Morning Gwinnett. You'll be able to listen to it. If you missed any portion of it, go check it out, goodmorninggwinnett.com. I'll be back again on Monday with another great guest. Thank you again, Chantel, for being here. I know you're a busy woman, so I'm glad that you took out a minute to share with us, and I hope to have you back again soon. I will be back on Monday. You have a great and safe weekend. Until next time, everybody, make it a great day.
Thank you so much, Audrey.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.